92.5 FM.
Family, welcome in on a Thursday, joint practice day down in South Florida. Hayes and I are here in Jacksonville. I'm heading to Miami. How we say it in the South, Miami.
I've heard that. It always threw me off when I heard it as
Miami.
a kid.
Miami is where we're going. So I actually going to Lauderdale.
I had a friend's mom that called it Miami.
Is that right?
And when I was a boy, and it always was like.
She was from the South. Your friend's mom was from the South. Okay?
I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm from the South. I'd never heard that.
Good point. But Miami is where we're headed, but we are certainly looking forward to one final preseason game. Jags and Dolphins, they had a practice today. And so we'll tell you a little bit about what we've been able to glean, just like most people from Twitter and whatnot, on the practice. I do get the impression Pete Prisco had an interesting tweet that did not surprise me. Pete obviously lives in Lauderdale and went out to the practice. And he said, both teams look like they're over camp. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And I think in fairness to the Jags and the Dolphins, when you have a joint this late in camp, that's kind of what you're going to get. There's a reason I didn't even go. I think sometimes you have to don't you think? I think that, and in fairness to Liam, he was trying to have other joints, they just didn't come about. So I'm not surprised this one. I'm not surprised that was Pete. I haven't seen it obviously, but I'm not surprised that was Pete's take at the camp or the joint practice.
I'm not either. And again, it was unique in that it is late in camp. Although there are some others going around.
There
today,
are.
But and there was some brawls. Green Bay had a brawl in their joint practice with Seattle that was pretty substantial. But so I think it's a little later than what you would normally have. It's also odd to have one team that's already done a couple of these and have one team that has not. And so it normally it's lined up better. But again, it was just the way that, unfortunately, this is the way it went for the Jaguars. But I will say this. I mean, I'm always interested in, and certainly the reporters that were down there from our area, Shipley and Jamal and the gang that were there. It's good to get their insights. But it's also cool to see sort of what is the opposing media tweeting. And because sometimes you just view it through a different prism. And I was looking at Omar Kelly's timeline, the columnist for the Miami Herald who was out there. And he did say, Miami forced 2 turnovers off of Trevor Lawrence, 2 interceptions. Amika Fitzpatrick one would have gone for a touchdown. It was a pick 6 on a Lawrence and Brenton Strange, I think, got confused on where, they were supposed to be. And Omar Kelly did say that the Dolphins had a bunch of sacks against that Jaguars O-line. But he also tweeted Eric Armstead had a sack. Brian Thomas Jr. had a 45-yard catch. Brian Thomas Jr. had a touchdown catch on a slant. Ventrell Miller forced a fumble. Braswell had a PBU. Devin Lloyd had a sack. Jordan Lewis had a tackle for loss on a jet sweep. And Agba had a sack. So there were obviously several good moments for the Jaguars. And again, then it becomes the age-old question of how much stock are you really even going to put into this? We've never gotten to week 4 of a season and reflected back on a joint practice or a preseason game. It just feels like this. It feels really important now in August, but then the regular season starts and you get a couple weeks into it, and it's almost like this just totally disappears. And I think that's what you'll see out of this.
Yeah, I do too. So anyway, one last practice, and now then the hay really is in the barn. Next week the next few weeks they'll practice for Carolina, but you'll have a pretty good idea of their team. They'll cut on Tuesday, so you'll have at least on Tuesday you'll have a pretty good semblance of the 53. That doesn't mean there won't be a waiver wire acquisition or so, but for the most part, I think you know the team. I think for the most part now we know the team. I think it's pretty safe to say this isn't a team that's going to go acquire 7 people after everybody cuts on Tuesday, or 5 or whatever it was that one year.
That in 2013, I think it was like 9.
Was it 9?
But that was a totally different situation.
Yeah, and I'm kidding.
Yeah, it was the first year for Gus Bradley and Dave Caldwell, but they basically had an expansion roster.
Correct.
They needed a massive upgrade in talent. This team doesn't feel like that. But I could see several. Liam Cohen made it pretty obvious today. They're going to be active on the waiver wire. And again, with Gladstone's devotion to Les Snead in the Rams front office, I absolutely would be shocked if 2 or 3 Rams that are cut don't become Jaguars. And then there probably will be maybe a guy in Tampa that Liam Cohen liked. Maybe a guy or two just around the league that they feel like really fits them. So I would say if you make the 53, if you feel like you were lucky to make the 53, don't get settled in, because 24 hours later, you could be getting the ultimate bad news, which is you make the club, you've got that rush of euphoria because you've made the 53, you've beaten the odds, and then 24 hours later, the team makes a claim and you're out.
Yeah, and that's the price of doing business, and I agree.
It's the NFL.
Yeah, but I believe most of this team is set. And you're right. That doesn't mean there won't be one guy, two guys, three guys. But I would be I'm a little, there's some still positions. I still wonder about D tackle a little. I still wonder a little bit about areas of the secondary. But that's about it for me. I would be surprised if there's a new quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defensive end, maybe linebacker, maybe linebacker or secondary. I think you could add, and of course defensive tackle. So we'll see. We'll see what winds up happening. But for the most part, I think the hay is mostly in the barn. Also, Liam said today what you and I kind of expected. He didn't come out and say it until then, but what you and I kind of theorized is, because the first and second group got good work in those first two preseason games, one series the first game, a few series last game, and because of this joint practice where they felt like they'd get work, we didn't expect the starters this week. And again, he wasn't going to announce. I wasn't sure when Liam would announce that or when he would decide that. But I think for the most part, he said the starters won't play. I would be surprised. And again, we don't know this is where they're headed. But I would usually at this point, when your starters don't play, kind of your key backups don't either, right? So I would be surprised if anybody even of significance at all. Now you got to play some. You only have so many players. You have to. I mean, some guys are going to have to play that'll be on the team. Don't get me wrong, but I would think players of significance, not just with the Jags and the Dolphins. I wouldn't expect a lot of players of significance to play in NFL games this weekend, which is why I think they have too many.
I agree. I wouldn't either, although I thought it was interesting. Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins coach, made it sound like to his media he is going to play starters a little bit against the Jaguars.
One series maybe. Yeah,
so we'll see. But I mean, you got 90 guys. I would sit a minimum of 35 of them, and so that gives you 55 for the game, which should be more than enough. I mean, that's more than what you would have in a regular season game after you announce you're inactive. So, if I would sit my top, if I was Liam Cohen, 35 guys would be wearing a ball cap. And, now it's of the utmost importance to get to the Carolina game healthy. That's the best thing about today's joint practice is you didn't get a tweet from somebody saying Hines Allen is on the cart. Trayvon Walker is in pain on the ground. Nothing like that. They seem like they came out of it injury-free, which is fantastic. So, now the goal is be as healthy as you can be for the Carolina game. And, I think they've done a good job. I think it's been a good camp for Liam Cohen. I have no idea how good the team will be. I have no idea how good he'll handle the team in the regular season. But I think he has done, for a first-time head coach, I have been impressed with how he has conducted this training camp. And I think he's done everything he can to get them ready. Are they ready? We won't know that for a few weeks. But I like the direction that he has taken them in.
So I'm going to, given all of that, I'm going to start the program today. I will not be here tomorrow. I'll try and check in with you from South Florida as I head down in the morning to be with the team. But I will, what I will do is when we come back from the break, since we now know starters aren't playing, since it's my and your guess that usually when you do that, that doesn't mean your key backups are playing either. So I'm going to guess there, and I could be wrong about that. We'll see. I'm going to go through a handful of guys who this game could be important for, who I think are going to play. All right, I'm going to go through a handful of guys that I think this game could be important for, who I think are going to play in the game. And so that's how we'll start the program. We'll do that today. I got some college football to get to this weekend. There's not a whole lot of games. I think there's 5 games, but Dan Mullen returns this weekend.
Oh, goody.
Dan, but I want to talk about Dan Mullen. How will he do at Vegas? Don't answer now, but I mean, he's back in the game, and I'm surprised he's back in the game, and I'm surprised he landed in Vegas. I thought he was done. I thought he lost interest in doing it. So, what went wrong with Dan Mullen? A serious topic today. What went wrong? Why was Dan Mullen one day throwing wheel routes to Kyle Pitts, and Kadarius Toney and beating the University of Georgia and playing a really good Alabama team down to the wire, and then the blink of the eye was gone. What happened? It's a if you really look back, it's a fascinating story. So Dan Mullen back on the field this week. We'll certainly get into that a little bit. A new metric with the college football playoff. I think that's interesting as well. What came out of the joint practice today? The Jaguars' last one of significance, I believe. Who's this game important for? So we got a lot to do on a Thursday. We're glad you're with us. Stanley Pools always sponsors our Thursdays. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, JJ LaSelva on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's entered. Open the door to the Jags locker room to bring you exclusive insights and interviews on 1010XL.
This just in.
In the locker room with Hayes Carline. Unlocked by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
It's time to elevate your back-to-school style with luxury and a brand-new Cadillac.
Discover the 2025 Luxury XT6, a spacious 7-seat SUV starting at just $49,195. Perfect for carpooling or weekend adventures.
That's right, or step up your game with the stunning 2026 Vistique, Escalade, and Escalade IQ.
I want to go back to school in style.
You can. Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville. This school year, it's all about style.
Plus tax tag title $999 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
If you miss an interview, it'll be waiting for you on demand.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Search where you find podcasts.
And at 1010XL.com.
Trained by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Reclaim a pain-free life with Rebound Rehab. If you've been injured or simply feeling the effects of an active life, you can rely on Rebound Rehabilitation to get you back in the game. Sitting on the sidelines isn't any fun. Trust Rebound Rehab's team of trained physical therapists to get you back up to speed and feeling full again. Now more convenient than ever. 11 locations to serve you, including new offices in Riverside across from St. Vincent's, Point Meadows, and Middleburg. Just log on to reboundrehab.com to see all they've got to offer.
This football season, Hurricane Grill and Wings is your game day getaway. Catch every play with the perfect drink in hand. Handcrafted cocktails like the Millionaire Margarita, Spicy Guavarita, Old Fashioned, or the Red Bullerita. Beer more your style to watch the games? Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Game day cocktails and Bud Light specials are here all season long at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find a restaurant near you at hurricanewings.com.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there as number 2 overall draft pick Travis Hunter, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and new head coach Liam Cohen take the field for the first time during the 2025 NFL regular season. Secure your seats for when the Jaguars take on the Panthers September 7th by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
Frank Frangie here to tell you about the coolest new thing, a putting green in my backyard that my friends at Sunshine Turf installed. Sunshine Turf can do the same for you. They'll come to your house, they'll create a custom design for your space, and you'll have an authentic golf course experience right in your own backyard. I freaking love it. Sunshine Turf is family owned and they made the process so simple. So visit sunshineturf.info or call them at 904-383-0243 and get a free quote today for your own putting green. Get it from Sunshine Turf.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We thank our friends from Stanley Pools. 269-7277 or 904. Excuse me, 269-7277. That's the number to call if you want the best pool company in town. They've built our pool, renovated our pool. They still service our pool. My friend Greg Stanley and his whole team do such a fantastic job. They really have. His dad, Bob Stanley, started that company, God rest his soul, and what a good man and what a good family. The Stanley Pool, folks, they're the best in the business. I can promise you that. If you need a pool, Stanley Pools, that is the name to know in Jacksonville. Frangie, Carline, and La Selva. There will be a game on Saturday night. You'll hear it right here on our radio station. Jeff Logum and I will have the call. Kai Stevens from the sidelines. We look forward to that one final preseason game. No starters playing, no Jaguars starters playing. Hayes made a good point. Looks like the Dolphins will probably play their guys for a series or so, but no Jaguar starters playing in the game. My guess would be significant backups won't, but you never know. You never know that. That wasn't the announcement. The only announcement was that the starters won't play, so we'll see what happens. But there's a handful of guys that I think the game is important for. I'm going to run through some of them. I'm going to start with Austin Trammell. I sense that Austin Trammell has evolved into the fifth receiver, the backup punt returner, a guy that can play that slot very comfortably. Yet I assume he's playing. And I would think if he is, he's a guy that he one more good game, and I sense that he's the fifth receiver. Agree or disagree?
I think he's in great position right now to be the fifth receiver. Now, again, I think receiver is a spot where you could see them be active on the waiver wire.
Same.
And so, yeah, I would. My guess is Austin Trammell will make the 53 as the fifth receiver, have kind of a shaky 24 hours as he's waiting it out, but will probably be fine to make the club. My guess is the receiver that they pick up will be more of the sixth, the special teams receiver, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, he's done a nice job, and every time he's gotten a chance, he's performed. I mean, consistency. We hear every coaching staff in the world talk about that's the most important thing. Well, he consistently shows up when he gets his chances. You know, he doesn't get a lot of chances because of how far down he is on the depth chart, but when he does get chances, he plays well, and he's now done that for each of the last two staffs that were here. So, yeah, I mean, I think I would put it at 80% that he's on the 53 a week from now after they've done the initial waiver wire claim.
Any other with Cephas now gone, I'm trying to think, are any other receivers get your attention? Trenton Irwin's been around the league a little bit. He's a bigger receiver, 6'2", 205. They don't have one of those guys. He's also a guy that can play special teams. He might be the only other receiver. And again, we're assuming Brian Thomas Jr., De'Ami Brown, Travis Hunter are the first three. Parker Washington, a clear number 4. Or a clear top 4. So if that's the clear top 4, which we all agree, we're trying to find a fifth and sixth guy. I think they have to play special teams. Austin Trammell one. If there's a sixth guy, maybe Trenton Irwin.
I would think so. I mean, he's got the best pedigree of the bunch. Brayboy has played a lot of special teams.
Correct, and he's big too.
I don't know if he might be the latest version of a Tim Jones where, you know, he hasn't really done much at receiver that I've seen at least. But he does play a ton of special team snaps in the preseason in the game. So, but that's somebody who I think their sixth receiver is on somebody else's club right now. My guess is when the cuts occur, the Jaguars will go claim a receiver that will be more of a special teams threat.
Other guys in the secondary. Let's assume, by the way, that Buster Brown's on the team. I'm going to assume that for today, even though he missed most of camp. The cornerbacks are Tyson Campbell, Travis Hunter when he plays over there. Jordan Lewis is going to be outside in base, I think, and play nickel. Jarian Jones is on the team. I don't think there's much debate about that. After that, is it Christian Braswell? Is it Trey Prince? I think guys like that need to play well. I expect they will play, and I think they need to play well on Saturday night.
I would agree. I think Braswell's in good shape. Again, he had a PBU today, according to Dolphins media, so that's that's good to see. And so he's had a nice back second half of training camp, he's really come on. So I think my guess is Braswell does play Saturday, but I think he's in good standing.
Ahead of Trey Prince?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where I'd be stunned if they keep Trey Prince.
What about Kenny H. Lovely, who showed up out of nowhere, and it was only one play, but that interception was a lovely interception.
It was nicely
Sorry,
done.
I'm done now.
Well, look, when you only forced 8 turnovers last year as a defense and only had 9 collectively as a team, I don't think you can ignore somebody that shows great break on the ball and anticipation. My guess is he's not going to make the team, but I do think you have to have a conversation because they need guys that can find the football, and they didn't have that last year.
Agreed.
I mean, again, we can talk about how bad Ryan Nielsen was as defensive coordinator, but at some point, if you're a good NFL player, you should be able to manufacture takeaways. And the fact that they only had, they had basically an NFL record low for a 17-game schedule to only force 8 turnovers. You can't blame that all on a coordinator. So they obviously needed playmaking to increase. Travis Hunter will be a big part of that, but it's got to come from elsewhere. So I don't think he'll make it, to answer your question. But I do think the break on the ball that he displayed in making that interception, it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't like the ball just popped right into his hands. That was a nice play. So yeah, somebody that can make a play like that deserves conversation.
All right. And speaking of the secondary, okay, we know Eric Murray is going to start at one safety spot. We're pretty confident of that. Andrew Wingard looks like he might be the other starter. Antonio Johnson's fighting for that spot. Darnell Savage is fighting for that spot. Daniel Thomas is a great special teams player, but is fighting for that spot. Caleb Ransaw, when healthy, is going to be there. We can't keep everybody. So I would believe, Hayes, that there is a little significance there, is there not, about who winds up being, someone's getting cut. Could Darnell Savage get cut? I think he could. Could Antonio Johnson? It looks like he's kind of found a little something here, but he could. He could get. So I think that safety spot, be careful if you're in that safety spot because you might not be on the team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What's interesting about the safety spot is it may be the biggest beneficiary of Travis Hunter's versatility, because if they decide to count Hunter on their board as a receiver, then knowing he can also help you at corner, well, maybe you're keeping one fewer corner, which then allows you to keep one extra safety. And if you can keep one extra safety, that might behoove them to do it, because we're seeing more of the 3 safety coverages anyway. Now, I don't know Anthony Campanile. I don't know if that's something he prioritizes or not. We'll find that out. But a lot of teams are going to that 3 safety look. So you sort of need 4 safeties that can actually play defense for you, and you're going to need one that's a special teams demon. So, I think there could be a 5th. I haven't played with the numbers yet, maybe even a 6th safety in light of going one lighter at corner because of the presence of Hunter. So, but yeah, I think, Rayon Lane, I think is going to make the team for his special teams value. They drafted him in the 6th round for that. But to your point, there's too many players and not enough spots. I think Daniel Thomas, I think it's going to be awfully difficult for him to make this roster. Now he'll get picked up somewhere else because he is a great special teams player. But that'd be my guess. And so, yeah, you'd keep Wingard, Murray, Savage, Antonio Johnson, Lane would be your 5.
And does Heath Farwell go in there and say, just so you guys know, he might be my best special teams player? Before we decide, he is the special teams coordinator. He's got one job. And does he say, just DT, just so you know, DT and Tim Jones were our best special teams players last year. Tim's not here anymore. Mindful of that before we make a decision. It's got to be at least in the conversation.
Well, yeah, and again, that's going to depend on how Heath Farwell feels about the development of Lane,
right?
Who I'm assuming he, was excited about, and
I'm sure
I would
have no
leaned
doubt
on him in terms of that draft pick, and it seems like he's done well. So, but you're right, yeah. I'll be interested in seeing how much that kind of matters, because I've always felt like the previous staffs, not just the Peterson-Balke staff, but going back, there's been way too much emphasis on special teams on the 53. It just so rarely has mattered. I mean, to me, it's when you've got a struggling offense and a struggling defense, I need guys that can play offense and defense, and we'll figure out special. You got a great kicker, and a great punter. Just have Logan Cook hang it 5 seconds up in the air, and the guy's going to fair catch it. So, I mean, you got Cam Little, knock it out of the end zone and put him at the 35 if you feel like you can't cover the kick. But to me, I would not want to worry too much about guys that I don't feel like can play offense or defense, but are great special teams players.
Let me give you 2 guys who this team has drafted, Miles Cole and Javon Foster. Both draft picks by the low draft picks by the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I think are really up against it. Miles Cole now has Agba, Smoot, Gardeck, who's a linebacker, but certainly a pass rusher as well, all ahead of him. A long climb for him. And Javon Foster, I went through 10 I think are going to make it, and he wasn't one of those. So 2 guys that, if there's any chance to make the team, I think better play well on Saturday.
Absolutely, because I don't know that they're going to get another chance. I mean, they're not making this team. And, you know, there's going to be players playing on Saturday that this will be the last football game they ever play in. Because, I mean, again, it's, you know, Trent Baalke isn't working in another front office. So it's not like they've got allies in other outposts that might sign them. And so, yeah, I think for Foster, and Foster probably has a chance because some GM will be like, he's a 4th-round pick. We'll bring him in. And
big and athletic.
You know, Cole might be a little different because his body is just so odd.
Yeah.
For a defensive end, but I mean, I think there's a healthy chance that Saturday is the last football game they ever play.
All right, so the Jags picked up a running back last week. My assumption is, and we'll see, we're guessing, but I'm guessing he was picked up to play in this game along with Jaquindon Jackson, which makes me wonder if maybe all 4 guys are held out. Do you think that?
I think that because
that'd be my guy, and I'm guessing we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they've all looked good, and, you know, this is a topic for another segment, but I was really shocked when Liam Cohen was asked about the 1 through 4, Bigsby, Etienne, Tootin, LaQuint Allen, and said, we've got to figure it out because only 3 of those guys are going to be up on game day, which I think is shocking. That one of those 4 will be a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
So they've got a surplus there for sure. And, I think you hold all 4 of them out. You get, what's the kid's name that they just signed, Kevin Hall or something like that?
Who I think's here to play this game.
Yeah, I mean.
He's here to play in a game.
Kevin Hall, I hope, has been running.
Yeah.
Because he's getting ready to experience pain. Because he is going to get 45 carries on Saturday night.
Kevin Hall, 41 carries for 58 yards. Is that what you think? Is that what we're headed for?
I think that's what
41 for 58.
Yeah, I would. I would say
Jaquindon Jackson's going to get some carries.
And Jaquindon Jackson, but again, he's somebody that if they like, you don't want him having 15 carries on film for other GMs to go through. If you feel like that's a guy that's got talent,
put him on the practice squad and hopefully keep him there.
Yeah, I mean, so you might be given this. Again, I think his name's Kevin Hall. I don't even know, but you'll know better. But I mean, Kevin Hall.
I've done my boards tonight.
I mean, it literally is going. I don't know what the preseason record is for carries in a football game, but he's got a chance.
So I'm doing my boards tonight, and I highlight where I think the ball's going. I should highlight Kevin Hall if that's his name.
Yes.
I'm not sure it's his name, but if it's his name, I should highlight him.
LaDainian Tomlinson didn't get the workload that Kevin Hall is going to be receiving on Saturday. If you play fantasy football in the preseason,
let me give you one more.
Kevin Hall is your top guy.
Let me give you one more name. Branson Combs. Branson Combs is an undrafted linebacker out of, is it Duke, Wake Forest? Where's Branson from? Undrafted linebacker.
I'm not sure.
A guy that is a good football player that I've got to believe they would like to keep. I've got to believe that's a guy they would like.
Yeah, he hasn't caught my eye as much as, but there certainly has been a buzz around him from the people that matter.
Right.
And so I think he's got a good shot. He is definitely somebody that I would play. I mean, in this game. I mean, he's an undrafted rookie. He needs the reps. He played at Wake Forest. That's why we didn't.
I will tell you, he's the guy that's got their attention.
Yes.
I can.
So I would think has to play Saturday, but is in a good position. Somebody like Chad Muma, probably on the outside looking in.
We'll take a break. Let's talk some college football. Dan Mullen is back on the field on Saturday. What went wrong? That and more. We continue. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Garrett Scantling here, and once again, thanks to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, I'm back to training for the 2028 Olympics in LA. My torn hip labrum issue is resolved thanks to Dr. Doward, and Dr. Acevedo keeps my feet healthy too. Training and competing, that's what it's all about for me. And Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has me in top condition.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to I-9 Sports with fall and winter registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. I9Sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
We've all seen great overtime games and thrilling finishes, but when it comes to having a big time, knowing when to say when is key. Budweiser reminds you to win the day and night by designating a driver. That's a victory every time.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We thank our friends from Stanley Pools. They do a fantastic job. Again, they've built pools for us. They've renovated pools. They've renovated our backyard with walls and lights and the whole bit. Pergolas, they're good. Now, if you want your backyard renovated, you've been to our backyard. Stanley Pools did it all. You've seen it.
It's beautiful.
They do a wonderful job. So, Stanley Pools, those are the folks to call. you get an opportunity if you want to pool. I can promise you that. 904-269-7277. That is the number to call. All right, so on Saturday afternoon, UNLV plays host to Idaho State in a gigantic barn burner. Dan Mullen back on the field. Dan Mullen is the coach at UNLV. Boy's an interesting cat. Offensive coordinator under Urban Meyer. Got the Mississippi State head job. Got him to number one in the nation, I think, at one point. Did he not?
He did.
He had him to number one in the nation. Yeah, that's right. His work at Mississippi State got him the Florida job. Scott Strickland was the AD there, and now he's the AD here, and he hired him. Had Florida in 2020. I think they're one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the country. Now, they lost to Alabama 52-46. They scored more points on that Nick Saban team than anybody else did. They're the only team to play within a touchdown. Almost won the game. Didn't win it. Beat Georgia that same year in Jacksonville and beat them kind of handily with all those wheel routes. That was the COVID year, so there weren't a lot of people in the stands, and that was an easy year to forget. But they were really good then.
I think they won the Orange Bowl, right, over Virginia?
They did. But they had this really good team. 1 year later, he's gone. What happened with Dan Mullen? I mean, the easy answer is he didn't want to recruit. Okay, we get that, and that's an accurate answer. So, but there's usually more to it than that. In your opinion, nobody follows it closer than we do. In your opinion, what happened? What went wrong with Dan Mullen?
I think Dan Mullen is a brilliant offensive mind, but I think he's incredibly arrogant, and I think his arrogance got the best of him. I think Dan Mullen is the kind of person that believes, well, they can't fire me. I'm too big. I'm Dan Mullen. I'm the greatest. And anybody would be glad to have me. And I think he thought that the NFL was going to be fighting over themselves to hire him after that Orange Bowl season, and it didn't happen. And I think it was a little bit of a shock to Dan. I think he'd sort of budgeted that he was going to be out that year, and so I don't think he'd put a lot of effort into recruiting. But I think ultimately it was his arrogance. I think he just believed he was better than what he is. And, unfortunately, it was the undoing. He gave away the Ferrari, and now he's driving a Pinto.
Right.
And, no offense to people that drive Pintos.
Who doesn't love a Pinto?
Yeah.
Just don't get hit behind. You hit behind, it blows up.
Yeah.
You know that?
And there probably aren't that many on the road. But still, I don't want to, I'm not trying to, offend others. But I am trying to offend Dan Mullen.
Okay.
And, and so I think that the other thing that I'll say is life is a lot about timing. And the timing didn't line up for Dan Mullen. If the portal and NIL and revenue sharing had come online when he got the Florida job, he might still be at Florida. If he'd been comfortable being the Florida Gators coach, if he felt like this is good enough, this is the best job for me, if the NFL calls, great. But if they don't call, I'm very happy here because I think he's a gifted football mind in terms of X's and O's. And in an NIL portal era, revenue sharing era, he doesn't have to go make a great recruiting pitch to land a kid. He just says, hey, you want to be the starting quarterback here? Here's $4 million a year. He's going to get the player. So, and Florida is well funded. So he's going to be able to compete with the highest spending teams. So I think some of it was the time frame, because when he was the Florida coach, you still had to work the high school hallways. You still had to recruit. It was old-fashioned. The portal was not really as big as it has now become, and certainly you couldn't pay players like you can pay them now, where 90% of their decision-making process is simply going to be, like it is in the NFL, who's going to pay me the most money? That's where I'm going to go. So I think timing, but ultimately it was a stifling arrogance from a talented person, but a stifling arrogance that of the feeling of I'm bigger than this, and that's dangerous. That's a dangerous line of thought to ever have.
JJ, you'll appreciate this, and I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if it was Al Golden, Manny Diaz, one of those. Dan Mullen was up for the job. Do you remember this at all?
At Miami?
Yeah, he was.
No, I don't.
Yeah, he was, and I will tell you, and I can tell you, you can do the math probably and figure out some of the names, but I know some people involved in that hiring at the time, and he was doing and I don't know if it was Al Golden or Manny, or I don't remember when it was, which hire it was, but
maybe it was Mark Richt.
Maybe it's Mark Richt. It was somewhere in there. he didn't get the job because they thought he was arrogant in the interview. I can tell you that for a fact. I can definitively tell you that he didn't get the Miami job because it was believed he was arrogant. I don't remember which coach it was. It was one of those guys. And I think Dan is a really smart football guy. I think there is an arrogance there, and I think the arrogance and the lack of recruiting chops are connected. Yeah, and I think they are. I get the sense that last year he was at Florida playing Emory Jones instead of Anthony Richardson, playing number 20.
I was going to say, who even was the running back?
Instead of
I can't believe Malik something?
Yeah, Malik
I can't believe
Davis.
Because it was every Monday you'd come in and it was a great rant.
Yeah, I'm still pissed.
Yeah, it served us well for a good 8 or 9 Mondays.
I mean, Malik Davis would always start the game.
Yeah.
And
Pierce was by far the best back.
And Pierce was by far the best back.
Yeah.
And it drove me crazy. And he stood his ground on it. Like he was, when coaches become smartest guy in the room is generally when they get fired. And I thought that as much as anything, this is how we're going to do it, and you're not going to move me off it. And look, say what you want about Anthony Richardson. He's struggling. He lost the job in Indianapolis. He was a 40% passer last year. He's not yet been what everybody there hopes he will be, and I don't know if that book's closed yet. But he was the 4th pick in the draft. And Mullen would not play him ahead of Emory Jones. God bless Emory Jones. I don't even know. I know Emory Jones went to Cincinnati and East Carolina and Arizona State. I lost track of the schools. He had about 3 or 4, didn't he?
He did.
But he wouldn't play him ahead of Emory Jones. Oh, that was an arrogance. He wouldn't play Pierce ahead of Malik Davis. That was an arrogance. At some point, you can't be the smart. Back in the old day, if you did that, you were a tough guy, football guy, and the rest of the world backed down. It doesn't back down anymore. If you don't do the obvious stuff now, you're the smartest guy in the room and you get fired. So I thought that all leads to what you were saying. It led to that arrogance. I watched him on TV. He seems so happy on television. He and Matt Berry became good buddies. They did studio together. They did games together. I didn't think he wanted to coach again. You see him on his water skiing and right, and I think didn't he look like the happiest guy around?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, good for him. He
made a bunch of money.
He made a bunch of money, and he's now happy, living the life. I'm surprised that he wanted to coach. I was very surprised he landed. Now he's a good coach. I'm not sure UNLV is getting a better coach. UNLV might probably got the best coach they could have hired. So good on them for hiring him. But I'm surprised he pursued that.
I am too, and I'll be curious in seeing if this does lead to a second act for Dan Mullen, if he does well at UNLV, and if he does get another big job. I don't know that it would be to Florida's level unless he went like 22
well, that's the question.
at UNLV.
But what if he does? Here's what I can see him, like Barry Odom. I can see him showing up there and going 22-1, or more realistically, in 2 years going 18-4 or 19-4 or whatever it is, 19-5, and all of a sudden you look up and he's the Missouri coach. I could see that. I could see you look up and he's the Illinois coach. I don't see him at a blue blood again. To your point, I think he's at least another move away from that.
As an AD, I would be interested in Dan Mullen because of what we talked about. The climate now, I think, better suits him for success at a bigger program because I know he can't recruit as an AD, but that's okay. If I'm Missouri, we've got $20.5 million to distribute. 14 of that's going to football. I probably have a good NIL that is supplementing that, and that's going to be pretty much all towards the football program. So if I'm an AD, Dan Mullen is attractive because he's an offensive mind. To your point, he's still a pretty young man. Certainly has a lot of time left in a coaching career if he chooses to take it. And his weakness in terms of building a roster now isn't as bad of a weakness because we're going to pay for talent anyway. So, I think if he does well at UNLV, I think he would be attractive to the B-level jobs in the SEC, ACC, Big Ten. And I think I'm with you. I think he will do well. I think he's a good X's and O's coach. I just think this new era will suit him better than the climate that existed when he was at Florida trying to compete with Kirby Smart, who's one of the best recruiters of his generation. He was going up against Nick Saban, who's authored the greatest dynasty of at least my lifetime, in my opinion. So that was tremendous resistance. Now it's easier. Now you just write a check, and that's how you get your big-time players on campus.
I will say one final thing. I don't think there's any chance in 8 trillion years that if I was sitting around on a Saturday afternoon, I'll be getting ready for the Jags-Dolphins, but let's assume I wasn't. Let's assume the Jags played Friday night, and I was sitting around getting ready to go to dinner, and it was 4:30 in the afternoon. There's no chance in 1 trillion years I would even turn on Idaho State UNLV. Now, I might watch a few series just to see how he calls plays. Just wouldn't you? I mean, I'm not. It's not an appointment, right. but I'll probably so. And because we're Florida people, but I would think his presence there will give them a little more relevance than they would have if he wasn't there.
I would think. I mean, again, the man did get Mississippi State to #1 in the country.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did some good things at Florida. I just think it's a shame that the Florida job wasn't enough for Mullen. And that there wasn't a patience of, okay, I'm a little disappointed that the Jets didn't call. But you know what? I'm going to give Florida my best effort. We're going to have another great year. And maybe next year, the Bears call. And I get that chance. He just basically was like, well, if the call's not coming, then I'm cashing in my chips and I'm going to start mailing it in.
We'll take a break. We'll talk some golf and more after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
When you want breaking sports news, tune in to 1010XL.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Or any of our social channels at 1010XL.
Satisfied?
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head-on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Football is a game of inches, and at Front Runners Tap House, every inch counts. Catch every big play on their massive 396-inch giant television. The ultimate game day experience is waiting for you at Front Runners Tap House inside the Community First Igloo.
Joe Coward, Matt Hayes, and Leon Searcy are serving up your daily dose of sports talk specials from scratch.
I didn't know you could.
XL Primetime is driven by Duval Ford.
These are delicious.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner with honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Upgrade her diamond ring this summer with no money down and 0 interest for 5 years. Don't miss this killer offer from Beard's Diamonds. 5 years, 0 interest financing till the year 2030. Not just on engagement rings, also on earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Buy now and pay nothing down and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. So that $5,000 gift comes out to just $85 a month. Beard's Diamonds is Jacksonville's locally owned source for exquisite jewelry. We can do things the big corporate jewelers can only dream of, like lowering interest rates all the way down to 0. All GIA certified diamonds are included in this. Rounds, princess cuts, ovals, pear shapes, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. Whether you get a $5,000 diamond or a $50,000 diamond, you can spread your payments over 5 whole years. Get the Beard's Diamonds unbeatable price. Pay 0 down and spread your payments over 5 years. But hurry, this is a limited time offer that ends August 31st and will not be extended. Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center. Shop local. Shop Beards. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
The playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
The Tour Championship continues along at East Lake up in the Atlanta area. Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa lead the pack. They're both 5 under. Thomas through 8 holes, Morikawa through 13. Patrick Cantlay, who plays well up there, 4 under through 12 holes, as is Oberg through 9 holes. And then a number of folks at 3 under par, like 5, I think, are now at 3 under par. So they're playing well there in North Georgia, Hayes.
Yeah, East Lake there for the taking. It normally is. It's not a terribly hard course. It's got great tradition, obviously. It was Bobby Jones's home course. So, I mean, it's got a rich history, but yeah, it's not an overly difficult track. So I would imagine that this isn't just a fluke day. This is what you're going to see. It's going to be a shootout. I would imagine the winner is going to come in somewhere between 18 and 20 under. So, yeah, you're going to definitely see some fireworks.
All right. As far as our match goes, Fleetwood's at 3 under. I have him.
That's right.
Victor Hovland's at 1 under. You have him. Where's Rory?
Rory just missed a birdie, and he looked very upset. It was a terrible putt.
Okay, so
I don't like the vibes that he was
bad
putting
vibe.
out.
He's even through 4.
Okay, he just started.
Yeah, he's
though.
even.
He just started. Though.
I mean, he teed off it too. So
So we're just under. Really, as far as Loser Monday goes, we're just underway.
Correct. The problem is he's playing with Scotty, who's absolutely tearing it up.
Yeah.
So I could see him losing.
Isn't Scheffler just 2 under?
Yeah, but I mean,
But I get his point.
3.
Yeah.
You know, and Rory's already looking over at his caddy, like doing the whole thing with his hands. It's not a good start for JJ.
I got you. You're not liking the vibe.
What's interesting though is Hovland, because that's what everybody's watching. They're watching to see if Carline goes wire to wire.
Yeah, so it was I just feel bad for Victor because of the pressure,
the added pressure.
Yeah, because you could tell,
once he found out,
he bogeyed his first 2, so he's 2 over through 2.
Yeah,
and I got him on the phone for just 30 seconds before the tee shot.
Calmed him down a bit.
Victor, just calm down. I said, if I have to go to bonus, I have to go to bonus. Okay, it's not the end of the world. If I lose 1 out of 7 or whatever it is, I'm perfect. I would take that every year that I play this game. So just have fun.
Yeah,
swing free.
Did it help?
Well, I mean, he's rallied. I mean,
3 under since.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully, he can keep it going. But
I'm glad I didn't know that he was 2 over after 2, because I would have already been in celebratory mode.
yeah. And let me just say this. If Hayes loses, JJ, it will only be 1 loss in 7 tries. But based on the host of the show, it'll be the loudest one. It'll be the loudest one lost.
It'll count for 7.
It'll be the loudest loss in Loser Monday history, just so we're clear.
Yeah, as it should be. I fully understand that.
Oh, goodness. But we will watch the golf. It's fun watching golf. And I'll echo what you said yesterday, what I've said all along, what I think we all believe. I've never, this is going to sound crazy, okay? Seriously crazy. I've never been sorry to see a golf season end ever before because that means football's here. But I'm almost going to miss watching Sunday afternoon golf.
We still got the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, and no question. The Ryder Cup will be fantastic. Yeah. But I've never been sorry to see golf end because football's been here. But, there's a little, does that make sense?
It does.
There's a little touch of that.
Yeah.
It's been such a good golf season.
It has been a great golf season, but the second that
me too.
Cowboys-Eagles kickoff.
Same here.
Golf, I won't even know what that is.
Yeah.
And I always talk a big game about, boy, I'm excited about the Ryder Cup.
Right.
And then I will probably watch 7 minutes of it because it's just, Thursday and Friday you can watch a lot of it. Or, I think it's actually a 3-day event.
Yeah,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's usually easier to watch it when it's in Europe because you can watch it in the morning.
Because it's in the morning. But honestly, I hate to say it, but on Sunday and certainly on Saturday, I'm watching football. I'll flip over. I will monitor the Ryder Cup, but the odds of me watching start to finish a Ryder Cup match 1 through 18.
I'm same way.
There's no chance that's happening.
It's incredible how locked in you'd be to the Ryder Cup if it was August 15th.
Without a doubt.
I agree with that. I'm the same way. I still feel this way because it's been such a fun.
It's been a great. I love golf.
But I'm like
a
you.
big golf fan.
Who am I kidding? If I come back from a Jaguars game and I turn on television and I'm relaxed and I kick my feet up and it's Sunday afternoon at 5:30 and we're going to the half of Chiefs-Chargers 28-27 and I'm locked into Herbert and Mahomes and they kick a field goal at the end of the half to make it a 28-27 and running off the field, I'm not going to go, darn, I sure could use a John Deere Classic right about now. You're right. I'm not going to do that.
Well, the Ryder Cup, by the way, on Saturday, same day as Oregon, Penn State, Alabama, Georgia, and LSU, Ole Miss.
Yeah,
let me know how it goes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, very good point. If it's
Keegan, I wish you all the luck in the world.
Yeah. If Alabama and Georgia are battling, I'm not going to lock into Russell Henley and Oberg. Very good point.
Both 7:30 games, Oregon versus Penn State and Alabama versus Georgia, competing at the exact same time, NBC and ABC.
And frankly, I won't watch any of Penn State or Oregon.
If Alabama's playing Georgia, I won't even know they're playing. I'm sorry, but I won't.
Nothing else in the world will matter other than the Alabama-Georgia game.
Yeah.
I'll be double screening. Right. Yeah, that's on the little screen.
If Alabama's playing Georgia and my wife's feeling sick and she wants to go to the emergency room, I'll say, can you wait 20 minutes?
Can we get you an Uber?
You're right. That's why they have Uber. Right, for crying out loud. We'll take a break. Next hour is up. 1 hour to go on the program. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
There's the snap. Brunell standing in the pocket, has time. He's on the run to his left. He's got Keenan all alone. Keenan makes the catch at the 10. Tyrope's down the sideline. And the referee signaled touchdown. A 47-yard touchdown pass.
Jaguars pride forever. 1010XL.
At Keon Atlantic, the savings are back in session. You'll just need to follow these simple rules to make the most of your back to school. Step 1, switch out your car for an upgrade. Step 2, drive a new Kia starting at $20K. Step 3, make no payments for a whole 90 days. Hurry in to start back to school in a big way. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
Go ahead and dial it.
Dial what?
When you call in your opinion or hear an interesting interview from a sports insider on Jaguars Today or XL Primetime, you're getting it straight from the Checkmate Coatings phone line all day, every day on 1010XL.
The
best game day parking in all of Duval is at Tailgaters Parking. Are you ready for some football? Tailgaters is just steps away on the east side of the stadium. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and secure your season parking pass today.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Did you know that basketball and volleyball were invented at the YMCA? That's right, and even today, the Y continues to lead the way in youth sports programming, from toddlers just starting out to teens ready to compete. The Y offers skill development, recreational play, and competitive leagues, all in a fun, supportive environment. Get your child in the game to build character and skills at the Y. Registration is now open for youth volleyball and soccer at fcymca.org.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too.
Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
Plan ahead this year and order your home holiday decorating from Kuhn Flowers. They'll take care of all your Christmas tree setup, lighting, and decorating hassles. This is Max with 1010XL. Call on Kuhn Flowers. They'll do it all this fall.
Hey, Hicken here from my friends the Cleaning Freaks at Zero Res. Back to school special with those guys. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135 plus a free hallway and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and take advantage of these huge savings.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Lone Pronto. Final PGA Tour event of the season, the Tour Championship, kicked off today and has a big payout of $20 million to the winner. The current leader is Justin Thomas at 6 under. High school football on 1010XL returns tonight as the Bulldogs will face Monarch down at the Broward Football Showcase in Miami, with the game streaming on 1010 a.m. at 8 o'clock. It's 92 degrees at 3:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We thank our friends from Stanley Pools, the best pool company around. 904-269-7277 is the number for Stanley Pools. And I know firsthand they've built pools for me on a regular basis and love the work they do. They still service our pool, and they're the best in the business at that as well. Something quickly of significance, Hayes, in the college football realm. Did you see where the SEC very quietly is now leaning toward going ahead and going to the 9-game schedule? And apparently the president still has to approve it. But that will pave the way to the 16 games, because the Big Ten drew a line in the sand and said they're not going to do the 5-11 if the SEC still plays the 8 games. Now, I don't think that's necessarily why the SEC might change, but the SEC goes to 9 games. I think we then have a 16-game playoff with a 5-11 format.
I absolutely agree. And it makes you wonder if they finally got ESPN and ABC to kick in more money, because that was the reason that they didn't want to do it before. Why would we give you something for free? If you want a 9th game of inventory, you got to pay for it. And I would imagine ESPN and ABC they had a wildly successful first year with the SEC in terms of the ratings. Certainly you anticipate that happening again with all the star talent, particularly at the quarterback position that's in the SEC, the great matchups that we're talking about Alabama, Georgia, but there's a litany of them. So a 9th week of conference games is very valuable. So, yeah, I think it's got certainly playoff implications, but it's something the SEC needs to do. They need to get to 9. And, the Kentuckys and Mississippi States of the world that don't like that because it makes it harder to qualify for bowl eligibility, you're just going to have to deal with it. Like, again, it's a new climate. You've got the same $20.5 million to spend that everybody else has. So it's more the NFL model where if you identify and pay the right players, you can. There's nothing holding you back. The fact that you haven't historically been strong in college football no longer is a deterrent in terms of attracting talent because you can go pay them. So hopefully they all get behind it. It'd be great to have a 9-game SEC slate. And I think for the Gators, you'd have the 9 conference games. You'd play Florida State, and then that'd be it. I think it ends any chance Florida and Miami ever playing again in the regular season. I think it ends any chance of Florida ever scheduling a home-and-home with an Oregon or, Utah, Ohio State, games like that. I think from Florida's perspective, it'll be, look, we play 9 SEC games, we play Florida State, and then we're going to play 2 teams that we have a decided resources advantage over.
And I'll say one other thing to that that might have swayed the SEC, and your point's right. More money from ESPN is what they've wanted all along, and that's been pretty clear. Hayes, I think the other part is, not lost in this, is the College Football Playoff Committee has now announced that they will have a very specific strength of schedule metric, not just somebody thinks the strength of schedule or based on polls, but it's almost like the RPI in basketball and baseball. They'll now have a metric that incorporates strength of schedule, that you can be you could be 8-3 with 1 game remaining and have a higher RPI than a team that's 11-0. Well, that's never been the case before. There's never been a metric that says the 8-3 team is better than the 11-0 team. We've never had that. We've had people believe that a 9-2 Alabama team is better than an 11-0 Indiana team, but we've never had a metric that told us that. Well, there's now going to be a metric, and I think there's significance to that. I think the fact that metric is real, Hayes, and that they believe it'll be legitimately taken into consideration is another thing that I think pushes the SEC to now go ahead and be comfortable playing another conference game.
Without a doubt. And again, that's a metric that the sports fan is going to readily accept because we're used to it in college basketball in terms of shaping the field and the seeds in the field.
Right, whatever they call it.
Yeah, I'll give you an example from this past college basketball season. So Iowa State was 24-9, but they were the 9th best team in the RPI with a 24-9 record. St. John's was 30-4 and was 13th in the RPI.
Great example.
Now the committee still gave St. John's a 2 seed, so I'm not, but the point is,
right?
We've already been dealing with metrics in basketball where the record doesn't tell the full story. And if it was a quad 1 game,
and if it was a 12-team tournament, St. John's might not have gotten in, and Iowa State might have gotten in. That's what we're talking about, and we would have had a number rather than people just saying, well, they're favoring the Power 4 schools over the non-Power 4 schools. No, we have a number, and we have a formula that tells you they're better. That's the point. Is now we have a formula that tells you they're better, which beforehand we wouldn't have had that. So college football, basketball has it, baseball has it. Now college football will have it too, and I think there's some significance there. All right, let's take a break. Hayes has headlines after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Folks, are you looking for a better used car shopping experience? Well, you'll find it at Nimnik Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. Now, with Car Bravo and Nimnik, you'll save big and drive home with a smile. Nimnik Buick GMC can certify all makes and models. That means Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. That's right, all makes, all models. Are you trading in your old vehicle? Well, don't forget, who gives you more top dollar for your trade? Nobody but Nimnik. So shop online at nimnikbuickgmc.com or visit their showroom off of Phillips Highway. And remember, there's a lot of ways to get used cars, but there's no better way than to do it with Car Bravo, and Nimnik is the place to get your Car Bravo car for you. Head there today. All makes and models. They've got them all, and they've got them at Nimnik. So what's the best place to get cars, trucks, SUVs? Well, that's easy. Nobody but Nimnik.
Every summer, there's one Saturday night you gotta be in Daytona.
Hey, boys, watch this.
The NASCAR Coke Zero Sugar 400. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. From Jacksonville's NASCAR station. 1010XL.
Cigar smokers, mark your calendars. On August 22nd, 3 to 7, join us at Cigars International Superstore at the Town Center for an epic Oliva event. Meet Ralphie Solar from Oliva. Grab exclusive deals on Oliva boxes and sip drinks at our full bar. Relax in our indoor and outdoor lounges with TVs. Don't miss this smoking good time. This Friday, August 22nd, 3 to 7 p.m., Cigars International Superstore, Jacksonville at the Town Center.
UB40, the Relentless Tour 2025. This Saturday night, St. Augustine Amphitheater, with special guest, The Fix. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Let PGA pros straighten your morning drive with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser on Brunch with the Tour, Tuesday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL. Teed up by Apex Roofing and Contracting and Clearwater Irrigation. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A.
Big Chief Tire is always looking for ways to better serve the Jacksonville community we call home. Frank Frangie here. Starting Monday, June 16th, they're opening their 6th shop location in Mandarin, providing more Jacksonville residents with a locally owned auto repair business they can trust. Visit the new shop on San Jose Boulevard today for all your vehicle needs, including brake repair, new tires, and more. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today.
Attention sports fans, are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the big games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Bet anywhere, win here, only at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it. I guarantee it.
How do you know that your roof is ready for the next big storm? You don't. That's why you need to call me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We'll assess your roof and fix those issues before they become storm disasters. Visit BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roofing quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. They will take great care of you. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with the Jaguars-Dolphins joint practice. Some good, some bad, but the great, no new injuries for the Jags.
Yeah, I think this is the last, we talked about it, the last real physical combat that they will really have. Now, they'll hit a few times, I would guess, before they play. The real game's about a couple weeks away. But they got through the preseason, I would say, mostly uninjured. There's a few injuries there. Wyatt Milum, Caleb Renshaw, a couple of the new guys. But now with Mason Smith and Eric Armstead back with the team, I wouldn't expect you'll see them Saturday. They've gotten through the camp period relatively healthy, and that's a good thing.
Liam Cohen said after practice meeting with reporters that the starters will not play Saturday in the preseason finale against Miami.
I don't think that's a big surprise. I think you and I talked about it during the week. We didn't know. Liam wasn't going to announce it till he was going to announce it. But I think I would have been more surprised if he had gone the other way. The work's in. I think it was good work. Now let's put a ball cap on and wait for the Carolina Panthers to get here.
One comment that Cohen made today that surprised me was him being asked about the running back position 1 through 4 and saying it is darn near impossible to have 4 up on game day.
Yeah, we're still right in the thick of it, honestly. I mean, I think that we've seen great things from all 4 of those guys, really. Knowing that it's going to be darn near impossible to have 4 with a jersey on game day. That's the challenge that we have to work through over the next few weeks. You know, he did. I thought he had a better day than he did yesterday at practice. He stepped it up a little bit better today. 1 and 4 got some quality work, but they've continued to kind of do the right thing for us. And then Quint, man, in pass protection continues to do a nice job. So we've got some work to do over the next few weeks here before Carolina to figure out who's going to get a jersey. And special teams has a lot to do with that as well.
You know, one reason I think that works too, Hayes, is you've got 4 backs, 2 veterans, 2 rookies. But you also have 2 downhill runners, in my opinion, in Bigsby and Bashil Tootin, and 2 kind of prototypical third down back types who can also run inside, in Travis Etienne and LaQuinn Allen. So you can pick 3 and always have the right 3. That also helps you if somebody's nicked a little bit too now. If everybody's healthy and you have a guy down, so be it. But look, there's not a lot of good problems these days. That's a good problem to have.
Without a doubt. But who would you guess if everybody's healthy for Carolina and only like the 4 are all still here? Who would you expect to be inactive? LaQuinn Allen?
I would. If he's saying 4 are going to be or 3 are going to be up, yeah, I would think today LaQuinn Allen, because I think Etienne can be your third down back. But the other 2 could too. Bigsby caught the ball well in the one game, the little bit he's played here. Bashil Tootin can catch the football. So I think everybody you have can do everything. So my guess would be if everybody's healthy and on the team, at least at the early part of the season, LaQuinn Allen would be your inactive guy, I'm guessing.
Liam Cohen also said after practice today that he expects the Jaguars will be active on the waiver wire next week.
Yeah, you talked about that earlier. I don't think there's a lot of spots. But yeah, I think there's a few. I still don't think they're set at defensive tackle. I'm still not sure they're set at wide receiver or cornerback. Those are probably the 3 that jump out off the page to me.
Trevor Lawrence also met with reporters after today's practice with the Dolphins. He was asked about the offense overall.
A little sloppy. I think speaking individually, there was a couple throws I missed, and then just a couple miscommunications. And it's good to go against a different defense. We've been going against our defense all camp. So just to see different looks, different disguises, to have to really play each play as its own and go back to some of our base rules is good for us as an offense, and kind of just measuring stuff like, hey, this is where we're at. This is kind of what we showed today. Let's learn from it and get better. So I think that's just an honest assessment of today. There's some stuff to clean up, but I thought guys competed hard, flew around. Just got to clean up some of the details.
Hayes, they're ready to play. And that's not just a Jaguar thing. That's why we need 2 preseason games and go play. And I think that's where we'll land, and I think that's how players feel.
Let's get to around the NFL. We'll keep it with the Dolphins. Coach Mike McDaniel says the Dolphin starters will play some against the Jaguars Saturday night.
I would imagine that means a series. I can't imagine this close to the season you're letting your starters play very much, particularly in any circumstance, but particularly the circumstance the Dolphins are in, where everybody's on the hot seat. The last thing you need is an injury this year.
Without a doubt, Tampa Bay takes star receiver Chris Godwin off of the PUP. with the hope he will be available to play in October.
Yeah, I would think that was the hope all along when he got hurt, is that you'd get him back this year. Combined with Mike Evans, that's still an awfully potent tandem, but you need them both out there.
There will be a couple games tonight. If you're interested, we'll see how many key players actually suit up, but Steelers at Panthers and Patriots at Giants. So I guess you could take an early look at the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I would think the one reason you would watch a game is, we said this about the Bengals the other day, is if the Jags play them early in the season. And again, I'm not expecting Bryce Young or key guys to play at all or very much. But yeah, you get a feel of what kind of team the team has, particularly if you're going to play them early in the year.
Let's get it to golf. The PGA Tour Championship is underway. Justin Thomas, 6 under through 10 to lead the pack. Colin Morikawa and Sam Burns, both at 5 under right now. Is
Rory
that
just ran in an eagle.
Wow. How about that, Rory McIlroy to get to 2 under? That is JJ's guy. So off to a hot start. Lots of players doing very well in Eastlake.
Yeah, and you said this earlier. It's not, by their standards, it's not a particularly difficult course. So they're going to go low, and whoever goes the lowest is going to win this thing. It's going to be fun to watch. I will say that.
Without a doubt, Scotty Scheffler is putting for birdie right now to get to 3 under, and he has made it. So Scheffler, the world number 1 at 3 under. We'll get you to our Loser Monday update. Frank's pick, Tommy Fleetwood, doing great, 4 under through 7. Rory McIlroy, as we mentioned, JJ's pick just eagled to get to 2 under through 6. My guy, Victor Hovland, bogeyed his first 2 holes, but has somewhat rallied to get to 1 under through 14. So right now, I am in last place.
But it's all early. There's no cut, so they're all going to be playing on Sunday. And I got a hunch they're going to be jammed in there together. I think we're going to have 4 days of that, which makes it kind of fun.
Let's get to the Ryder Cup standings. Scheffler, JJ Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, Harris English, and Bryson DeChambeau are in the top 6, which guarantees a spot on the U.S. team. Captain Keegan Bradley will then have 6 picks of his choosing, who will make those picks on Wednesday. Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa are right outside the top 6, but certainly playing great right now, so you'd have to think they will be captain's choices. And Keegan Bradley is 11th in those standings. I hope he does pick himself as a playing captain.
Yeah, me too, but I also hope JT and Morikawa work their way into that top 12 based on results here, because I think they belong on. And it's still hard, even though you don't have to take all 12 Hayes, it's still hard to overlook number 9 because you think number 14 has played well in the past and is competitive and good match play player and all that. So I hope those 2 guys make their way onto the top 12.
Let's get to Major League Baseball. Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani shelled last night for 5 runs in 4 innings and a loss to the Rockies. He also took a liner off the leg, but fortunately for LA, appears like he will be fine.
Yeah, have you seen too that they've got their rotation pretty much back? Blake Snell, Glasnow, Kershaw, Shohei, they're all 5 of them are back now. Good luck.
They're only 1 game up though. They lost again last night.
No, they did. But you're right. But good luck. Good luck when it really matters in October against that group.
Let's get into college basketball. Billy Donovan will be honored during Florida's football opener against Long Island next Saturday to celebrate Donovan's impending induction into the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. Donovan led the Gators to 2 national championships, 4 Final Fours, 6 SEC regular season titles, and 4 SEC tournament titles.
How about that? Some believe greatest coach of any sport at Florida. Spurrier will still have that title for me because of what he changed. But I get why. Well, what a great coach Billy Donovan was at Florida. What a deserving, wonderful coach he's been. He was for the Gators.
Yeah, and it gives you another reason to go celebrate in the Swamp for that opener. Not obviously a marquee opponent. So I would imagine. I guess Billy's schedule must have been like that's the only date that worked. And he does get inducted like the next week.
Right.
So they're right up.
So
on
that's what it is.
Yeah, but yeah, I was a little when I first saw it. I was a little thought the timing was kind of odd, but you get to see Billy Donovan if you're going to head to the Swamp to watch them take on the mighty Long Island Sharks. Let's stay in college basketball and wish happy birthday to Sister Jean, who turns 106 today.
106.
Loyola Chicago's Sister Jean. Of course, she gained fame during Loyola's 2018 magical run to the Final Four. The Ramblers were an 11 seed that year. Sister Jean still going strong at
How about
106.
that? 106 years old.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing? Good for her. I thought that was a great story that year. I never got tired of it. Good for Sister Jean.
High school football kicks off today in the community, and Frank Walkoff Charities now has that gorgeous football facility.
Yeah, we have a brand new football stadium. We're very proud of it. We're going to play a lot of high school games. There's some of the smaller Christian schools, like our friends at Christ Church Academy, are building a new facility. It's going to be gorgeous, by the way, but while it's being built, they're going to play at our place. They open tonight against a school called Young Kids in Motion. So that game is tonight at 7 o'clock. It's our first game there. And oh, by the way, come on out and watch some football on a beautiful artificial turf field with a beautiful new scoreboard and beautiful new bleachers. And oh, by the way, Island Wing Company cooking up your wings. Imagine that, watching football at a beautiful night at a beautiful field with Island Wings in front of you. That's, you know what? That's a pretty good day.
Without a doubt.
So come on out and see us. Proceeds all go to Walk-Off Charities, which makes it important to us, obviously.
Absolutely. Let's get it to pop culture. We've got a flashback for you because it's been 5 years since the biggest legal miscarriage of justice that our country has ever known.
How'd they do that?
Because on this date, Lori Loughlin, America's sweetheart, sentenced to 2 months in jail in 2020 for bribing college administrators to get her child in school. I call that being a good mother. But in this country, it's a crime, apparently.
I've always thought we had the greatest justice system in the world until then. How they could put Lori Loughlin in jail.
You can't do it.
But yeah, and by the way, there's like a documentary out about it now.
Yeah.
I hope everybody
Is it called I'm Sorry?
I hope everybody watches it and realizes what a crime and what an injustice was done to the very innocent Lori Loughlin. I'm with you.
Is
this America or what?
It's a shame she didn't have me on that jury. But Lori Loughlin, apologies on behalf of the justice system
and the country.
Yeah, and the country. And she was a great sport about it. Her cameo on Curb Your Enthusiasm a season or two after.
About it.
It's fantastic.
You said it was hilarious.
She's bribing the golf starter for like the best tee time at the country club, and
That's
and
really
Larry
funny.
David's like losing his mind.
That's really
she's
funny.
learned nothing. How did she get that tee time?
That's
but
really
it
funny.
is it is really good stuff. As if that horror, a reminder of that horror, wasn't enough, another piece of Americana has been betrayed. And of course, I'm talking about Cracker Barrel's logo change.
What are they thinking?
What are we doing?
The Barrels changing their logo?
It is now
Who came
the
along?
blandest logo you will ever see. What is happening to us?
Well, who came along and Cracker Barrel and said, listen, we're selling more biscuits than anybody. We're selling more flapjacks than anybody in the history of flapjacks. I mean, let me just tell you this. If you're driving from North Carolina to Philadelphia and you go through Roanoke and you see that Barrel billboard, you're pulling off. You know why? Because you got that logo.
That's right.
Are you pulling off in Roanoke if you got a different logo? No. Well, you might not, as a matter of fact.
Because it's unappetizing.
That's exactly right. Roanoke will never be the same, and that's a bunch of crap. I'm with you.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the support.
Next time I'm driving through Roanoke, not stopping. Just telling you.
Yeah, we will get you out on our musical note of the day. Happy heavenly birthday to Clash frontman Joe Strummer, who was born on this day back in 1952. The Clash were one of the most influential punk bands in the late 70s and early 80s. The band inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003, a month after Strummer passed. This is Rock the Casbah.
Great song. Great song as well. Well done as always, Hayes. Back in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Have been shaken to the top. The shaking for his Cadillac.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
At Keon Atlantic, the savings are back in session. You'll just need to follow these simple rules to make the most of your back to school. Step 1, switch out your car for an upgrade. Step 2, drive a new Kia starting at $20K. Step 3, make no payments for a whole 90 days. Hurry in to start back to school in a big way. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection. For complete details, call 904-250-0587.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Summer means fun in all forms. Longer days and more chances to soak up the sun and the fun. Budweiser and Bud Light reminding you to drink wiser. Hydrate between beers and don't sweat it. It's the best way to get home safely.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
We give away all kind of stuff around here. If there's a sport being played, we give it away. Those Sporting Jacks soccer folks are kind of all the rage now. What do you got in there for them, JJ?
Yes, Sporting Jacks Soccer. I have a family 4-pack of tickets to see their home opener. That is this weekend, August 23rd at Hodges Stadium against DC Power FC. So be caller number 4 at 641-1010, and I'll hook you up.
Caller 4 right now, and you're going to see Sporting Jacks. Frangie, Carline, and LaSalle with you. 1/2 hour to go. I'm getting on the road tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So I will check in from Miami. I'm very interested to see this team on the road, to see, I love traveling with them. I know, again, the starters aren't playing in the game. I do believe, and look, the guys that play, we went through this at the top. If you didn't listen to the top of the program, we went through some guys for whom this game is very important. We went through Miles Cole and Branston Combs and Christian Braswell and Austin Trammell and Irwin. And, there's a lot of guys now trying to make this team, and that's even heightened a little bit, Hayes, by the point you made that Liam Cohen today after the joint practice said, look, we're going to be active next week too in the waiver wire. We don't know that our 53, every component of our 53 lives in Jacksonville now, which is interesting. But I still think, and this isn't just a Jaguars thing, Dolphins, games you watch on TV, I think they're so ready. If by now, and I know I rant on this a lot, or certainly talk about it a lot, and I say this a lot, I feel strongly this way. If in this day and age, where there's more information ever available to the players, even when they're not here, when OTAs are more organized than ever, when mini camps are more organized than ever, when teams can get more done from a conditioning standpoint in the offseason than they've ever been able to do. I mean, back in the day, guys had other jobs in the offseason, 100 years ago. Then after that, they didn't have that, but they weren't around their team in the offseason. Now you're here. You've got the best training facilities in the world. You stay in great shape. You have more OTAs than you've ever had. You have mandatory minicamp. Camp is more precise and more detailed. People get into football more than they ever have. If you still think they need 3 preseason games, you've lost your mind. And nobody believes they need 3 games anymore. And look, I'm looking for, I love calling games, but I'd love it if I called 18 regular season games and 2 preseason games. Nobody in their right mind believes you need the 3. But owners believe they need the 20 games. The union doesn't want one more game that matters, and therein lies the disconnect. But I've got to believe we're closing in on 18-2. We just have to be.
Yeah, and I hope that happens next year. I think there's a good chance, and we'll really start to find out in these next 72 hours, I think, how teams are playing it. I was surprised McDaniel said that the Dolphins are playing guys Saturday against the Jaguars. I was not surprised that Liam Cohen said that he is not. And I'm curious to see, again, so we have 2 games tonight. There's I think maybe a couple on Friday, and then the rest of the league finishes the preseason on Saturday. There are no Sunday games or Monday. So the preseason will end Saturday. And I'm curious, in looking at it, how many teams are going to start significant players. Now, if you're the Saints and you've got a quarterback battle still going on between Rattler and Shuck, then you're probably going to play some of your starters to get a feel for, that competition. But taking the Saints out of it, because I think everybody else has established who their week 1 starting quarterback is. If you have done that, I'll be curious in seeing how many starters you're playing. Because if the number is 3 or less, and I think there's a good chance it will be, the league needs to look at it and say, what are we doing? I mean, it is the equivalent of the old school extra point, and the league saying, we need to do something about this play. It's a non-competitive play. It's converted at 99.6%.
Right.
We need to move it back. It is a waste of everybody's time. Well, this is a gargantuan waste of everybody's time, having a 3rd preseason game in which teams are regularly not playing their top 35 guys in it. So, yes, the league owes it to its fans to adopt the 18-2 model. They'll get the players behind it. Obviously, the player's going to make more. The cap is going to go up because there is going to be more revenue from 18 regular season games. All their TV partners will do cartwheels for it and pay them whatever they ask. So the money's going to go up, and they'll get the second bye week, which is going to be perfect because now you're going to have Super Bowl Sunday fall on what will be a 3-day weekend for many people, not everybody, but for way more of the American public.
And I hope that's what, and for all those reasons, it all falls into place. I got one for you. You said that they'll be active on the waiver wire. Okay. They went on and got Nick Mullins to be the backup quarterback. Nick knows the offense, smart guy. I thought he looked pretty good against the Saints. In fact, I would be a little, and who knows, they haven't announced this yet, but I'd be a little surprised if he plays much or if at all on Saturday. My gut tells me it's John Wolford and Seth Hennigan's game, and because the backup quarterback's an important guy now. You know who it is, so it would not surprise me if he doesn't. But we'll see. I could be wrong. But having said that, it's clear to me, watching the Giants, that Jackson Dart's their number 2 guy. Last week, Russell Wilson played first, Jackson Dart played second, and Jameis Winston came in to mop up. I think they're going to cut Jameis Winston. Jags interested?
They should be.
Would they be?
Oh, he's 20 times better than Nick Mullins.
Certainly the arm, right? And
everything is better.
So,
there's
by the way,
there's not an element of Jameis Winston's game that I think Nick Mullins surpasses.
So if Jameis Winston is available, and it's not just a Jaguar thing, my guess is there's a number of teams that will look at their backup and say, wait a minute, we could have Jameis Winston as our backup. Why would we want our guy? That's not just a Jaguars thing. But that makes me wonder. My first thought was when I saw, again, I was watching the game on Saturday. I was on the road. I was sick as crap, so I was just staying in. And when I saw that Russ Wilson played first, Jackson Dart clearly played second and played very well. I mean, I think he's going to push Russ.
I would start Jackson Dart.
I would too. So, but I think even though they're not going to, I believe he's going to push him. So I don't think you don't keep Jameis Winston. He's not developmental.
Correct.
So they're going to cut. If they can't trade him,
right,
they're going to cut him. I would wonder if the Jags would be interested.
And it's interesting because Jameis will be the rare player that is released that will not be subject to waivers. He is, he's got enough accrued time that
he can pick his team.
He just becomes a free agent.
Right.
So, yeah, then it becomes interesting. But so he'll see. He'll see if somebody.
Jameis Winston, there's still something left with Jameis.
Jameis Winston is a talented player.
Yes.
I mean, his final year as a starter in Tampa Bay, he threw for like 33 touchdowns and 5,000 yards.
Right.
I mean, his problem has always been the turnovers, but then when he got a chance with the Saints, he was better protecting the football and still had some explosiveness to his game. He just then got hurt, never really got a chance. But no, to me, if Jameis Winston wanted to be a Jaguar as the backup, I think that would be a massive upgrade. I'm with you. I don't think they play Mullins for the insurance in case there isn't a quarterback that they like that is released. You don't want to worry about getting in a tough spot where something happens to Nick Mullins, and now you've got to go and be a little bit more aggressive in trying to acquire that quarterback. So I think they sit Mullins, but I don't think that means Mullins is safe from what could potentially be available to them on the waiver wire.
If Teddy Bridgewater is a clear number 2 in Tampa, which he is, by the way, and they cut Trask, is he in play here?
He is in play. Anybody that has an association with Liam Cohen or James Gladstone is going to be very much in play here, or a player that's in a team that runs those similar schemes. So, like, you look at the Vikings with the 49ers being played. The 49ers are pretty decimated at receiver, but they're not going to be decimated everywhere. I think as you look at it, start in L.A. first, like, look at who L.A. cuts, because I'll be shocked if they don't claim 3 of those guys. And then look at Tampa and who they cut, particularly on the offensive side, because those are going to be guys Liam Cohen has largely worked with, or some of them. And I think you could see a guy or two come from Tampa on the offensive side. And, and then there could be some, 1 or 2 others just around the league that this front office values and this coaching staff values. So, I think the number could be as high as 6. I don't know that. I'm not saying that that's where the roster is, that they've got to claim 6 guys. I just think the way they look at it and the way they talk about elevating the floor of the roster, I could see when James Gladstone meets with media next week, him saying, we were active on the waiver wire to increase what we believe is the floor of this roster and get guys in here, again, that aren't necessarily traits guys, that are guys that the Rams, the Bucks went after, liked, because of what Gladstone calls authentic football moments. Playing football, doing football things in a football game at a high level is something that they're more intrigued by than running a fast 40.
And they've made it clear about that now. They've made it clear productivity over traits. When the previous regime, when Trent Baalke was clearly traits over productivity. And that flip is very clear. You wouldn't, that's not just a media or social media narrative. That's obvious that it's really the truth. All right, let's take a break. 1 segment to go. We'll have it for you after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH, Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99%. and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise, free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter. And you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Frank Frangie here from my friend and insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at AMCOJacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Today we talked about the Jags joint practice with the Miami Dolphins, the final one of those. We'll see. The fact that Liam Cohen said starters are not going to play in the ball game. No real surprise. I didn't expect that they would in this final game, and then we get ready to play a real NFL season. We talked about the college football season starting this week, including Dan Mullen and UNLV. We talked about Dan Mullen since he's back on the field as a coach this week, how he will do with the running Rebs, and we'll get a little bit more of that in a minute. But what kind of went wrong with Dan Mullen at Florida? So we certainly talked about that today on the program. We talked about the college football program having the college football playoff rather, having a new metric that's strength of schedule, which could entice the SEC to go to that 9th conference game, which it looks like they might do, according to insiders. It also means that maybe ESPN is giving them more money to do so. So we've talked about a lot today on the program, and of course we talked about golf, our Loser Monday bet, as well as the Tour Championship, the last regular golf, and our last Loser Monday of the year. By the way, how will Mullen do at UNLV? What are your expectations? Are they 10-2 in 2 years?
No.
You don't think? I think they are. I think he's going to be really good there.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, Barry Odom did it. And
I don't think he connects. One thing that I didn't mention, and maybe he'll be better at it now, I don't think he connects well with players. Now, maybe that'll improve, but he left Florida a debacle in terms of their locker room.
Well, there's no question.
And so that would be a concern is, can he keep them together when adversity strikes? Will he run a tight ship? Because that did not occur in Gainesville, and you are in Las Vegas. So you are dealing with athletes that, while they're not like superstars of Las Vegas, the UNLV football team, I'm assuming, is not rock stars in Las Vegas, but they're still athletes. They're going to have some money. I mean, UNLV isn't, they're not spending the $20.5 million, but, they still have, they're probably giving their football athletes some money. So there's going to be obviously a lot of temptations, a lot of distractions. And, Dan Mullen didn't do a good job of that. I mean, the locker room was a real problem for Billy Napier when he took over there.
Yeah, and by the way, that was a problem of significance, and it really was, and he's cleaned it up, so we'll see. All right, we continue to track the golf for you. Justin Thomas leads the pack at 7 under. By the way, when I see Justin, we just been so busy this week, haven't gotten to it. When I somehow connect Justin Thomas to Jordan Spieth, they kind of came into being around the same time.
They're real good friends.
They're real close. What happened to Spieth? Why did Jordan Spieth? Why did it collapse?
Big mystery.
Because he looked like he was the next.
Yes, he looked like he was on his way to.
They messed with his swing.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Yeah, he was always tweaking, wasn't he?
And I think he got settled into married life, which, look, there's no shame in that. But I think that, some athletes, when they do get married, it's harder for them to keep the foot on the gas, and you start having kids and things like that. How much is he working on his game, compared to the other elite players? But yeah, I mean, there's been a significant drop off. I mean, he didn't even qualify for the top 50,
right?
And let alone the top 30. So
he's always changing stuff with his swing.
He's tweaking. He's tweaking.
Always.
Tinker guy has to be very careful.
And he should have just stuck with what he got him, like those majors, to start out his career. He was so hot to start his career, man.
Man, did he look like he was going to be the guy, didn't he? I mean, he really did. He looked like he was going to be the guy. So.
I mean, he's only one away from the career Grand Slam. I don't think he'll ever get it, because I've sort of given up on Spieth ever coming back. He's young enough that he could.
Which one does he need?
I think he needs the
British,
PGA.
Okay.
That's the only one he's missing?
Yeah, because he won the U.S. Open at that one in the Pacific Northwest that no one liked, Chambers Bay, I think it was called.
That's right, he did.
And he won a British Open.
Yeah, PGA, right.
And he won the Masters. So I think he needs the PGA for the career Grand Slam. And he's young enough. What is Spieth, like 32 probably? 33? Something like that?
Whatever JT
32.
is.
He just turned 32.
So, I mean, he's got time, but boy, I wish he'd come back, because I'm a big Jordan Spieth fan. I'd love to see him regain his form, but with the way the tour has gone now and the amount of guys that have passed him by, I think it's going to be hard for him to catch back up.
Robert McIntyre, by the way, has it to 5 under. That'll be my kicking myself guy. Okay, like Morikawa, I never considered. He's ahead. Cantlay, I never considered. He's right there. I went down the line with McIntyre.
Well, you should be fine with Fleetwood. I mean, if this keeps up, he's on pace to come in at 16 under.
He made a bogey though. He just bogeyed. We got it back to 3. It's gonna be a lot of fun though, watching it all weekend long. Watching Hovland, watching McIlroy, and of course watching Fleetwood will be a lot of fun. So we'll all keep our eye on it. All right, I will be gone tomorrow, but you've got a lot planned. I think Ryan O'Halloran's going to join you. Pete Prisco is going to join you. Lee Smith is going to join you. I might even stop by phone for a little bit too, so you'll be busy with a lot of stuff going. And then college football, man. Are you going to watch any of the college football? Will you watch any of it?
It's funny. So ESPN we never talked about this, but ESPN did a top 100. And both Iowa State and Kansas State quarterbacks are on it. Top 100 players in the country.
Right.
Now, they're in like the 70s and 80s.
And they're both ranked teams.
But yeah, so, I mean, it might be a fun offensive game. So I probably will watch a little bit of Farmageddon.
Yeah. The Iowa State's ranked 22nd. K-State 17th, so they're ranked. The rest of the games don't.
I need to just bet like $5 on the game, one way or another.
Then you watch it,
and then it'll be like the greatest game I've ever watched.
And that
the world JJ lives.
Yeah, that field will always be sacred to me for what Georgia Tech did to Florida State last year. So, in memorial, I'll be watching that.
Fair enough. So, all right, that'll just about do it for our program. Do remind you now, on Thursdays we're here 2 to 4. Next Thursday, by the way, back to our normal time for 1 week. Next Thursday, we'll be back to our 4 to 6 time slot. No Jaguars programming next week because they have the off week as they get set for the real grind of the season. So next week, our program back to Helmets and Heels will be on 2 to 4. We'll be back to 4 to 6, our normal time slot. And then after that, our Thursdays, 2 to 4 throughout football season. Enjoy it tomorrow, fellas. I'll be on my way to Miami. We'll call one more preseason game, and then the season begins in earnest. We're out of here. The Jaguars programming is next, live from Miami. For now, for Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.